child, we got to get into this Jonathan Majors. Yes, we get into some Jonathan Majors. Let's get it. Hit the like.
Mr. Majors, is this a test of faith? Is this a test of your faith? Do you feel like Job right now? Mr. Majors, is this a test of faith? Is this a test of your faith? Do you feel like Job right now?
Jonathan Majors, you feel like Job? You feel like Job right now? These reporters do not play. They don't play, these reporters. Oh my gosh. All right, so we're gonna get into Jonathan Majors. Make sure you hit the like button, share your thoughts and opinions in the comments section. Everything we discuss is allegedly. We're gonna be sharing our thoughts and opinions. We're gonna get into Mr. Jonathan Majors. Yes, we are. All right, I've done past commentary on Mr. Jonathan Majors. Yes, I have. I've done some commentary on him. And I've always been like, I don't know if he did it, he didn't. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you right now, one thing that was really important to me when I heard about this whole Jonathan Majors. All right, well, just a second.
Do you feel like Job right now?
All right. We're gonna stop with the joke, okay? We're gonna stop with the joke. All right, let's just finish out this video. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into Jonathan Majors, right? All right, so basically, this is week one. We're going to discuss week one. I'm going to do a little recaps of week one. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you really have to work with me. Why do I say that? It's because this trial is in New York and it's not public. Basically, in New York, they don't like to make trials public. You know, New Yorkers get a little crazy sometimes. So I guess that's the reason why. But we're not going to worry about that. So now, if you need to know information, read the description. And also need to contact me, you'll find my email address in the description. So this lady that you see on the left, her name is Grace Jabbari. And on the right, you have Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors is a well-known actor. He's played in several movies. I guess he's a Marvel big guy. I don't watch Marvels. Only thing I really watch him on was on Creed. Okay, whatever. So we know he do a couple movies. So it was an incident that happened on March 25th, if I'm correct, right? And on March 25th, they had an altercation. Ended up turning into a domestic violence and he was arrested. And so now he's in trial. So we're going to watch the clips of different things that was happening in the trial. Now I'm going to share my thoughts and opinions. When I first heard, I was like, maybe he did do it. But then after a while with the text message come, I was like, maybe he didn't. I wasn't too sure. But when I did hear that there was a couple of other women out here that claimed that he assaulted them, allegedly, I was waiting to hear these victims talk on the stand. But some way the judge said no, they cannot come on the stand. So the reason why I say I want to hear them on the stand, because due to the fact is you get to learn a lot about him. Because if what these people say on the stand is similar to what she's saying, we got ourselves a monster right here. Okay? It is what it is. And another thing too is, so they didn't do that one. So they wouldn't let the the ones who said allegedly and everything. But the judge is very strict. The judge said she wants to go by what happened that night on March 25th in that car from on. She doesn't care about what happened in the past. She doesn't care about that. So that's all the jury is going to be informed. See, this is why I'm not that crazy about you being on jury duty, because there's a lot of things that you're not being informed of evidence. The judge decided to put it out there, not whatever, and don't want the jury to know. But it is what it is. All right, so we're going to watch a couple of clips. Now, the first we're going to watch news clips. We're going to watch some to find out what happened this whole week, because it was a bombshell. It was crazy this whole week. And Friday, woo, Woo! Jonathan Majors, your own lawyer, basically threw you under the bus. Now, where am I getting my research from? I'm doing the best I can, ladies and gentlemen, reading articles, news reports, blah, 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 and all that good stuff. All right. Now, all right, enjoy the music while you wait, while I set up the next clip. And if anybody's coming in, make sure you hit the like. All right, hit the like, and we're getting into Jonathan Majors. Did you do it? Did you not? And we're also going to talk about you, Megan. Yes, Megan, we got to get into you, Megan. All right, enjoy the music while you wait, while I set it up.
Well, a jury in Jonathan Majors' assault trial is due to hear the first full day of testimony today. The Marvel movie actor is accused of attacking a former girlfriend. Majors has pleaded not guilty to aggravated harassment and assault charges. Jerika Duncan has more.
Jonathan Majors arrived at a New York court Monday morning for opening statements in his assault case. Majors listened as the prosecution told jurors the 2-year relationship between he and ex-girlfriend Grace Jabbari started out as loving before Majors allegedly became violent and controlling.
You think you mad? Try spending half your life in a cell.
The Marvel actor is accused of attacking Jabbari in an Escalade last March in New York. Prosecutors claim the late-night altercation left Jabbari with a fractured finger and a cut behind her ear.
The prosecution wants to show the jury that Jonathan Majors escalated his behavior from being a psychologically controlling individual to becoming a physically controlling individual, and that he really hurt her.
In contrast, the defense says this case is about the end of a relationship, not a crime. Jabbari, according to Majors' attorneys, was the aggressor, grabbing his phone after seeing an intimate text from another woman. The defense says it was Majors who emerged from the car bloodied and went to a hotel, while Jabbari went out to a club. The surveillance video screen grabs appear to show Jabbari near the bar after the alleged fight.
Well, there could not be two more diametrically opposed stories here. So which one is the jury going to believe?
Jerika Duncan joins us now from outside the courthouse here in New York City. Jerika, great to see you. You've been following this closely. You've been attending the hearings. What can we expect from today's testimony, and what's jumped out at you so far?
So much has jumped out. So many things that we heard yesterday in those opening statements that we had not previously heard, which is to be expected during a trial. It's expected to last, by the way, about 2 weeks. So just again, to reiterate sort of the prosecution and what they're saying in all of this, we do hope to hear from Grace Jabbari, as well as the key witness in this would be the person who was driving Jonathan Majors and Grace Jabbari, when this alleged incident happened inside that SUV. As far as what we will hear from Jabbari, prosecutors hinted to some of what we might hear in the opening statements. They said that there was an audio recording that we would likely hear of Jonathan Majors, that Jabbari recorded of him during an argument. Prosecutors say that Majors told Jabbari she needed to, quote, live up to standards of Coretta Scott King and Michelle Obama. I thought, when I heard that, that was obviously a bit odd and striking.
This man told this woman, you need to live up to Coretta King and Michelle Obama. Oh, you a piece of work, Mr. Majors. Oh, yes, you are. Let's get back to it. Oh, and the question, BG, you asked me to my hair color. Yes, she changed her hair color. She changed it. This is when she was coming out the precinct, because she came back and because they had a warrant for her arrest and she didn't know, and then she came back to the States. And so when she came here, this is her new look. Yep. All right, let's get back to this news clip. And everybody's coming here. Thank you for being here. Blessings. Let's resume.
Struck me. They want to paint a picture truly of someone who was violent before the March 25th alleged incident in that SUV. But the defense is focused on what happened on March 25th, saying that after this incident in the car, that essentially her client went to a hotel and that Jabbari went out and was at clubs, and that they're going to show pictures and images of that, and that she did not appear to be in any pain, that she went back to the place where Majors and Jabbari lived. That Majors finds her, according to the defense, and calls the police, which then starts what we are here for now, which is her telling authorities that she was attacked inside that SUV. Although early on, the defense had put out information showing text messages where Jabbari had said that she told the police it was her fault and that she didn't want anything to happen to him and things of that nature. So there are clearly two different competing narratives about what actually happened. But today we could hear from Jabbari in testimony, but it's still unclear as to whether or not we will hear from Majors when all of this is said and done.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting ready to read an article to y'all. So I'm going to read this article. It's a brief article. I won't hold you forever on this article. And then we're going to have a couple of videos to show. All right, so let me just read this article that we have here. So now you know, them two is in court. Yes, they are. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get it. Let me know in the chat box if y'all can hear me clearly. I don't want to be sitting here reading to myself. And shout out to the mods. I see you, Emmanuel and BG. And shout out to everybody and blessings. Just give me a shout out to let me know, do y'all hear me clearly before I get into this article? Okay, I'm assuming that y'all do. All right, let's get into this article. This article that we have, this came from ABC News. And this came out December 5th, 2023. Jonathan Majors trial, Grace Jabbari testifies against ex-boyfriend in domestic violence. So she was on the stand, I believe, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday? Or was it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? I'm not quite sure. Like I said, this is not public, so I'm doing the best I can by the information that I'm seeing in the news and on social media, right? All right, so let's get into this one here. Grace Jabbari. The accuser in the misdemeanor assault case against Jonathan Majors took the stand as the first witness on the second day of the trial Tuesday. Jabbari, 30, wearing plaid pants and plaid jacket, answered questions from the assistant district attorney, Kelli Galaway. Look in the description, I get everybody's names correctly. So sometimes I butcher up names. Resume reading. Appearing to take a deep breath and exhale as she began her direct examination. I am Grace Jabbari. Nice to meet you, she said, and she introduced herself to the jury. I am a professional dancer. Majors, 34, sat in the defense table in a gray suit after entering the courtroom with current girlfriend Megan Good. Okay, Megan, we're going to get into you, Megan, but not right this moment. Current girlfriend Megan Good, who has attended each day of the proceedings. He carried a cup and a Bible. You saw it, right? Every time he comes to court, he got his good old Bible with him. Majors did not appear to look at Jabbari as she described her dance training and career. Members of Jabbari's family sat in front row on the opposite side of the aisles, and Majors' relatives and friends. Now, that clip that I showed you from before, if you notice, that was when you get to see his mother. And can you believe it? Megan's mother comes to the court too with her daughter. Interesting. But we're going to go back to this article. All right, where am I at? Okay. Major, who has played the role of Kang in several Marvel films and TV shows, is accused of assaulting Jabbari in the backseat of a for-hire SUV on March 25th after she allegedly grabbed his phone when a message from another woman popped up that said, "Wish I was kissing you." Majors has pleaded not guilty to the misdemeanors assault and harassment charges. He faces up to a year in jail if convicted. Grace Jabbari, detailed the night of the alleged assault, which she said occurred as they returned home from dinner in a for-hire Cadillac Escalade. She said that her head was resting on his shoulder as they were chatting as he was scrolling on his phone when a message popped up saying, "I wish I was kissing you." Now, ladies and gentlemen who's watching this and watching replay, what do you think? Do you think that's a form of gaslighting? Because I kind of think so. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Gotcha, Jack. All right. So what do y'all think? I think that's a form of gaslighting to me. But we're going to get back into it. Resume reading. I was taken back, Grace Jabbari said. I was so shocked. I've never considered infidelity to be one of the things that was happening, so I was upset. She said that Majors denied the message and had meaning, but he was just really alert, like he had been called out, she recalled. I was saying, "Let me see the message. Let me see the messages." So I grabbed his phone and turned away from him. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's wrong. You can't be grabbing somebody's cell phone out of your hands. What she did there was wrong. Let's resume reading. At that point, she said that she felt a heavy thump on the top of her head, what I knew to be the weight of him on top of me and him trying to pry the phone out of my fingers. She described Majors pulling her right hand behind her back while holding the phone in her left. It just felt like he was twisting my arm and my hand and trying to make me feel pain. When Galaway asked to describe her level of pain, Grace Jabbari responded, "I had a lot of pain, but my emotional state was only thinking about the infidelity. I was just thinking, who is that girl?" Majors has denied her accusations and said that she was the aggressor in the March 25th incident. The defense claimed Monday that Jabbar slapped, clawed, and otherwise physically attacked Major so bluntly that night that the driver of their for hire SUV called her "psycho girl." That's what I'm waiting for, is that the driver to get on the stand. We waiting for that one, if it happens. Resume reading. Defense attorney Pyra, I can't pronounce it, but look at the description. Defense attorney Jonathan Major's attorney said during the opening statements that Jabbar emerged unscattered and unhurt, while Majors was left bloodied and ran to a hotel to hide from her. Early in her testimony, Grace Jabbari said that Majors just became angry with her in December 2021 and detailed several incidents of him being mean or aggressive. Among the incidents was a Jabbar recalled from July 2022 when he started throwing things at her in a home that they were sharing in West Hollywood. The first thing that he threw was a candle, Jabbar said, as she showed the jury a photo of the room. The dent in the wall is of one of the candles. Okay, so the dent came from one of the candles. She used a pen to mark the spot where she was standing. I took the photo because the shift in his temper was something like I was aware of, Jabbar said. I just wanted to remember. I know I kept forgiving him, but I wanted to have a bit of a memory. Grace Jabbari often testified through nervous laughter, occasionally finishing her response with giggles. "Is this a test?" she asked after Galaway. She asked the prosecution. After the prosecution asked her the age of her three siblings. Now that part I don't understand. All right. Now it was prosecution. I didn't say this part. Prosecution is who asked her to be on the stand. Let's remember that. All right. Grace Jabbari was a movement director on the set of Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania in Pinewood, United Kingdom, when she met Majors, whom she acknowledged seeing in the courtroom. In one of the breaks, he came over to me, nearest the monitor, and asked me what was I doing. Why was I here? And I said, "Oh, I'm a dance teacher. I'm working on movement," Jabbar testified. She said his hairstylist slipped him. Oh, excuse me. She said his hairstylist slipped her his number, and the two went on a date. The relationship progressed fast, she said. We spent every day together, maybe minus a few. Within the next few months, Grace Jabbari, he told me he loved me very early on. Grace Jabbari said that Majors also quoted her poetry. I felt very loved and cared for, she said. All right. Ooh, excuse me. A little bit more of this article, y'all. Just hang in there. And I'm sitting here. And I see you. Emmanuel. All right. Let me get back to this article. I'm so sorry, dear. All right. Where am I at? All right. It was the first time I felt scared of him. It was the first time I felt scared of him. Jabbar said the first time Major became angry with her was in December 2021 when she was going to meet his dogs. Now this is something new. Okay, she's going to meet his dogs. All right. She said that Majors gave her specific instructions on how to behave around the dogs. Ooh, that's interesting. At that point, Grace Jabbar mentioned how an ex-boyfriend had a dog, and she said that he became angry and raised his voice. How dare I mention him? Jabbar quoted Majors telling her. It's embarrassing to him that I dated. His dog is pathetic, the kind of stuff. I don't get it. But basically, he just flipped out because she brought up an ex-boyfriend who had dogs. Like he's the only person in the world could have dogs. Yeah, okay. Majors. Really, really? Let's resume. It was the first time I felt scared of him, she told the jury. Grace Jabbar also described a time in June 2022 when she went to a festival where cell phone reception was not very good and Majors was not very pleased about it. Just that I thought that would be there, and how dare I go, she said. You're just out there drinking with your friends, and I had a really hard week. Ooh, Majors had a hard week. He had been training as a bodybuilder for the movie Grace Jabbar said, and he was quite stressed. By September 2022, Jabbar was living with Majors in London while he was shooting a movie that she recounted a Sunday when she had been at a pub with friends and returned to the house with him. He was getting a bit snappy, just quick with his responses, she said. Grace Jabbar said that she ushered everyone out of the house. The following day, she said that they met at a park, and when he accused her of being an alcoholic, tore the headphones off of her head and started shouting at her. Okay, so you snatching from her, she snatching from you. Okay, let's get back to it. All right. Better not be in the house when I get home. Ooh, Major's mad. That's what he told Grace. Grace quoted Major saying that day. All right, Grace broke down in tears on the stand after recounting the story and asked the judge for a break. Upon resuming her testimonies, Grace Jabbar said that she left the park and returned to the home that she was sharing with Majors and started to pack up, but froze when she heard Majors coming. He proceeded to grab everything and was just throwing it, swiping it, moving it, and throwing it. Anything I had brought him, he was breaking. Jabbar said, I just said, you can't stop. I'm leaving. Just please stop. She said it left her scared, upset, and confused, and that he was blaming her because she disturbed the peace or something like that. Oh, okay. Disturb the peace. Can't disturb Major's peace. All right, let's get to this. This is the crazy part, what I heard that was happening in court. All right. Pillow talk coming out on public. Let's go. Majors demand X to behave like Coretta Scott King or Michelle Obama in recording. The jury heard a recording of Grace made with her iPhone of Major shouting at her, demanding that she behaves like Coretta Scott King or Michelle Obama. I'm a great man. I do great things for my culture and for the world. The woman that supports me needs to be a great woman, Majors is heard on the recording saying. 2 nights ago, you did not do that, which took away from the plan. Woo! Because he's a great man. And this is all the recording. This was played in the courtroom. Jabbar said that she understood it to mean that he had to come first. Through halting sobs, Jabbar described what happened after he stopped shouting. I just kept saying, I'm sorry, and I took all the blame, Jabbar testified. I just took all the blame to calm him down. She said that she promised that she would not tell anyone what happened and was left quite scared of him and yet dependent on him. After Majors would get upset with Jabbar, she testified that he would threaten suicide. He said that he was a monster and that he wants to kill himself, and he has put action in place to do so. Grace Jabbari testified while recounting one incident on September 22nd, 2022. She said that she said that she pleaded with him not to and tried to make him feel safe and loved and secure. She said that would blame her, say it was her fault, and he got angry in the first place. Maybe he would say that he was sorry, but rarely, Grace Jabbari said. I just felt like I was existing in his world and emotionally and physically and of all these ways did not really feel myself, excuse me. Where we go? Just about done. In January, the two relocated to New York. That's where everything jumped off, right, ladies and gentlemen? In Chelsea, New York, Manhattan. In January, the two relocated to New York. Grace Jabbari said that she spoke to Major's manager about a behavior because she needed some support about his behavior because she needed some support. So she went to his manager. I guess his behavior is a little bit off or whatever. She go to his manager for a little support. She told the jury. It caused Majors to stop talking to her for a couple of weeks. Oh, okay, the silent routine. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got myself another clip. Now, I want you to share your thoughts and opinions. I would like to know, do you think that Majors, well, let's put you like this. In the trial, the judge is very firm. He doesn't care about what happened before December, what happened before March 25th. The judge doesn't have any concern, doesn't care about it. Wants to know what happened in that car from now. My opinion, if we're going to go by what happened in that car, oh yeah, he's innocent. She started. She hooked off. But my thing is, I'm trying to figure out what got her to that level. That's the question. And when you hear certain things, I'm hearing a lot of emotional, physical abuse. Now, Friday wasn't too good for Jonathan Majors because his lawyer threw him under the bus. Yes. All right, so enjoy the music here. Wait a minute, do I have the right one? Okay. Enjoy the music for a second while I change to the next screen, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to get into you, Megan. We're going to get into you, Megan. We're going to get into you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to watch this clip here. All right. And ADONAI Publishing is the name of the channel. There's some great comment. I forgot to press the like. I apologize. So let's listen to what their commentary talking about the trial, talking about day 2. Well, basically, it's talking about what happened during the week. Let's get it, ladies and gentlemen.
Day 2 of Jonathan Majors' long-delayed trial brought in some serious wins for the actor when the judge ruled against the prosecution being able to use evidence that was already under seal. He also stated that Jonathan's ex-girlfriend could not be referred to as the victim and that Jonathan's attorneys could bring up his ex-girlfriend's arrest during the trial. So just to bring you up to speed, back in September, video surveillance of Jonathan Majors' accuser was released and showed her approaching strangers without any apparent injuries just 8 minutes after the alleged car altercation that she later told police was where she had stained bruises and cuts around her neck, as well as a broken finger. Now remember, Jonathan was arrested on March 25, 2023, because his ex-girlfriend allegedly told police after much coaching, according to the body cam footage, that Jonathan Majors had put hands on her and around her neck in the back of their car after she tried to take his phone from him when she noticed that he had received a text message saying, "I wish I could be kissing you right now." Now, if you check out the last video we did on this, the surveillance footage shows her after.
KKK, I see you, beautiful. Ooh, Lord, I love that look. I agree with you. Yes, exactly as I expected, a narcissist. He's a narcissist, sociopath, or I don't know, but one of them, because we don't know too much, but he's somewhere in that league, K. All right. I knew it when she retracted her statement. It just felt too familiar. Bingo, that definitely was a red flag. We're going to get into these red flags. Let's resume. Hope everybody's comfortable. Have your country munch, your cocktails, your water, whatever it is. Sit back and relax. Because I'm going to be honest, this is going to be a bit of a long live stream. Because we're going to get into, we got to talk about what happened in week 1. Then next week I'll get into week 2. Reason.
The alleged altercation, not only apparently uninjured, but approaching two strange men who look like her, telling them that her boyfriend is Jonathan Majors and that she had to run out of the car because she saw that he had received a text message from another woman saying, "I wish I could be kissing you right now." Not once did she say that he had put hands on her. Not once did any of the strangers reference any bruising, bleeding cuts, or scratches on her. And Jonathan's ex continually ran her allegedly broken finger through her long blonde hair to tie it back in a knot. The strangers offered her the use of their phones to call Jonathan. That's definitely not something anyone would do if they were told that he had just laid hands on her. They also offered to call her an Uber and give her money to get a car home. They asked if she knows where she lives, but not once do they offer to get her to a hospital or call the police, which leads people to believe that these strangers saw no visible injuries and that Jonathan's ex also did not mention having any altercation with him just a few minutes after that alleged altercation occurred. Jonathan's ex again gets emotional with the strangers and mentions again that Jonathan was possibly cheating on her and she had to leave her purse and phone in the car because he got a text message from another woman. And one of the men basically says that's Jonathan's fault, right as Jonathan comes strolling down the sidewalk in front of them. The strangers stop talking and Jonathan's ex immediately tries to approach Jonathan while the female stranger tries to hold her back. But his ex shakes the stranger off of her and reaches towards Jonathan. And you can see Jonathan visibly jerk away from his ex and keep walking away without any real acknowledgement of her. At which point the strangers and Jonathan's ex, who all have the same complexion, stare at each other in shock. Jonathan's ex becomes the most distraught at this point and puts her hands over her face and appears to sob while the strangers look on. Then she rushes off after Jonathan. One of the male strangers then aggressively pushes past his own girlfriend to take off after Jonathan, at which point his girlfriend yanks him back and scolds him while pushing him into a wall to stop him from going after Jonathan.
My famous question, and you're so welcome, Kay, you're so welcome. My famous question, what was this guy about to do? You was about to go over there and jump, Majors? I see your girl had to check you, didn't she? What were you going to do? What is wrong with you? What are you going to do? I don't know. I know I ain't got nothing to do with the case, but I thought that was just a little weird. I just, all of a sudden, he just see a strange girl, and he just jump, and his girlfriend trying to tell him, like, calm down. What? Let's get back to it, ladies and gentlemen. If you forgot to hit the like, hit it. Hit it now.
They all then walk off, and minutes later, more surveillance video catches Jonathan's ex with these same strangers inside a nightclub, drinking champagne and anger she later said had been broken in the car. These videos seem to vindicate Jonathan from the charges. So that when the police in the same precinct that initially arrested Jonathan saw this footage and were presented with the bruises and cuts that were actually visible on Jonathan from that night, they finally moved to act on the police report that Jonathan had filed against his ex back in June. And they authorized the arrest of Jonathan's ex on several charges in October of this year.
Are you struggling to start or scale your Kindle Direct?
The DA's office apparently saw something completely different in the video and said that even if Jonathan's ex was arrested, she would not be prosecuted. In fact, according to the attorney of Jonathan's ex-girlfriend, He told People magazine that before Jonathan's ex even walked into the police precinct to surrender, the DA's office had already made it clear that they would not be charging her with any offense. And sure enough, several hours later, the DA's office declined to press charges and closed and sealed her arrest. The DA's office then began to make public their attempt to obtain a copy of an alleged police report from the UK from over a year ago, back in September of 2022. And while they had no details on the report, the DA's office also filed that they had medical records and photographs of Jonathan's ex from that incident that occurred in September. And according to an article in Variety, the DA's office basically wanted to add this to their evidence because Jonathan was in London around that same time. So on Wednesday, November 29th, day one of the trial, when Jonathan's attorney argued that potential evidence could taint the jury pool and deprive Jonathan of a fair trial, it's widely presumed that they are referring to this alleged UK police report, or possibly the alleged other accusers that have been hinted at by the prosecution. On day one, Jonathan's attorneys also requested that Jonathan's ex's arrest be included, even though the DA declined to prosecute. Because despite the DA's witness list, this case is really just about the credibility of one person. Now, as both sides argued back and forth in the court over this issue, the judge stated, "Can we all agree that this whole situation is very unusual?" And he eventually deferred his ruling on the issue until Thursday. So on Thursday, November 30th, day two of the trial, Judge Michael Gaffey ruled in Jonathan's favor that certain evidence and off the record entirely during the trial, which was a huge blow to the prosecution's case. The judge also reiterated that Jonathan's ex could not be referred to as the victim during jury selection, and in most reports, they're also stating that they cannot refer to her as the victim during trial either. They can just say that she was the victim of X action. Now, in another win for Jonathan, the judge ruled that even though the DA's office tried to cover up her arrest, the jury would get to hear that Jonathan's ex was arrested over the same incident for which Jonathan is on trial. The judge said that this is a situation where I think it is information that should be put before a jury. The jury should hear about it. The judge also said that Jonathan's ex would be allowed to testify that she knew nothing about the warrant for her arrest and that she came from the UK and surrendered immediately when she found out that she was wanted, which will give Jonathan's team the opportunity to bring up the fact that her own lawyer even stated that before she surrendered, they already knew the DA would not be prosecuting. Next, jury selection began from a pool of 39 potential jurors, where several women admitted that they were familiar with the case. But after having seen the video of Jonathan's ex dancing in the club shortly after the alleged altercation and seeing the related news coverage, they did not think that they could be impartial. Another juror asserted that
Gotta give the jurors credit. They being completely honest, right? This woman did a phenomenal job breaking this down. Shout out to you. Reason.
as a non-melanated woman who works with the Innocence Project, she had concerns about weighing allegations by non-melanated women against melanated men, given the problematic history of the way such accusations are processed through the legal system. There was even another actor in the potential pool of jurors, Yul Vasquez from the shows Soprano and Severance, who was dismissed after expressing concerns about judging another person, saying that someone would do that to him one day. By the end of day 2, 6 jurors were selected, consisting of 3 men and 3 women, with 2 alternates of 1 man.
Every time I just look at Megan, you look like you're about to get your heart broken in the biggest way. In 2024, and you just coming out of a divorce. Lord have mercy. Prayers to you, Megan. But I understand, Megan. Reason.
And 1 woman. 4 of the jurors are melanated, but no melanated men were selected. The jury was asked to return on Monday, December 4th, when opening statements are set to begin, and the whole trial is expected to be finished in 2 weeks. So considering Jonathan's major wins today and everything you've heard so far, what do you think the outcome of this case is going to be? And for even more details on what happened when Jonathan was actually arrested back in March and what the police were allegedly caught doing on body cam footage, check out our other videos.
Great question. Why don't y'all tell me, share your thoughts? What do you think? But I personally think that Jonathan Majors, I have more clips, so we're not done. We're not done, ladies and gentlemen. So it's going to be kind of a long live stream. Hopefully, y'all can hang. If you can't, I understand. You can catch the rest tomorrow while you're at work. Listen on your ears. But I personally think that Jonathan Majors is going to get off because they're basically supposed to focus on what happened in that car March 25th. What happened on that day. That's all they care about, right? So we're going to go by what happened on that day. Well, Jonathan Majors, I will say you are innocent and you should not go to jail. But however, you do have a pattern of abuse. And I really wish those other women was able to come on the stand and we can hear what they have to say. And you see, what bothers me about this, see, here it goes again. Victims suffer in silence. Now, these victims, alleged victims, we don't know if it's true or not. I'm just saying alleged victims. They wasn't able to speak and come on the stand. So their voice was silenced. And it probably was hard enough for them to come out to talk about this. And they finally found the strength to talk about this because they wanted to stop this from happening again. If he is that type of dude. All right. Let's get back into it. All right, we got ourselves another video. Give me just a second here while I get into this other video. And also, let me know in the chat or the people's watching the replay, have you been following this trial? Have you? Well, the best that you can because it's not public, but have you been following the trial? Alrighty. Okay. Now we're going to watch Fox Soul with Claudia Jordan. I like me some Claudia Jordan. This girl is so cool. All right. So we're going to listen to Claudia Jordan. I usually show these little clips from them. All right. So Claudia Jordan and her two co-stars, I can't really remember their names offhand, but her two co-hosts with her. And they're going to talk a little bit about this trial. And they're going to touch on Megan. Let's get it.
The Jonathan Majors assault trial is getting interesting. Jonathan's ex-girlfriend and accuser, Grace Jabbari, took to the stand and shared details about the assault and Jonathan's past aggressive behavior. She also shared a recording allegedly of Jonathan going off on her and telling her she needs to be more like Coretta Scott King and Michelle Obama. What are your thoughts on Jonathan's alleged behavior, Q?
Let me tell you something. Whoever from whatever side of the courtroom, they know exactly which headlines and pieces of the transcript to release in order to get people riled up. I mean, just the thought of a black man telling a white woman.
Thank you, Kay, for the rescue. Al Reynolds is the lighter-skinned guy on the left side. And Funky Dineva is the one on the right. And that's the one who's speaking now. I'm just going to rewind just a pinch. Thanks, Kay. Thanks.
Just the thought of a black man telling a white woman that she needs to be more like two of the biggest female, black influences of the civil rights movement. It's just laughable and upsetting. I know that it's extremely ignorant to look at somebody physically and say they look like they did it, but I'm ready for us to wrap this shit up already. Jonathan Majors is another one. I don't have to hear another court transcript or anything. He did this shit. He did it. You know what, y'all? It's like I'm not even in the mood tonight to be politically correct. He did it, and I almost said Megan Thee Stallion. And Megan the Good, you look stupid. Megan the Good, I'm kind of done with you too because you look stupid as hell at this point. You just look dumb. You look dumb. You look leased out. You look dumb. Your ass ain't even spent this much time going to damn auditions. We have actually seen you walking in more courtrooms than we've seen you walking on red carpets. I have more mental images of you walking holding his hand than the amount of movies you've ever made in your career. What are you doing? And can Jonathan Majors pay his people off or whatever so we can be done with this?
Oh, what do you think?
He's cracking me up a little bit, but I think he's a little bit too harsh. But I get the points that he's making, but he's just a little bit too harsh, a little too extra there. But let's hear what Al has to say. I usually kind of like what Al has to say. Al seems to be pretty fair. I kind of like what he has to say, but I definitely like what Claudia has to say. Let's get it.
Al, is that what you said?
Sorry, my voice is like struggling right now.
No worries. I'm like you on this one. I got to agree with him. The more I learn about Jonathan Majors, especially during this trial, the more not only do I don't understand him, but I'm starting not to like him. Like you said, how dare you compare two of our Black female icons of the entire culture to a white woman in a plan? What plan is he talking about? See, this is the part that's so crazy, guys. Unless you read the documents,
Please help me. That's what I want to understand, Majors. What is this plan that you have going on? You see, Jonathan Majors, let me talk to you for a second. This is my thoughts and opinions and everything. I think you taking these roles a little too far. I think you really taking these characters as a part of your life. I know when you're acting, you're supposed to get into character and all. I got all of that. But I think you're going a little bit too far. You're not separating your life to your Marvel characters or whatever. But these are my thoughts and opinions. All right, let's get back to it.
he was the one that contacted the police. He came home the next day. She was passed out in the living room because she took cough medicine from hanging out and she was stressed out. She took cough medicine. She passed out on the floor in the living room. He walks in, sees that she's passed out, called the police because he thinks she's going to hurt herself. The police come and ask her what happened, and she tells the truth that she got in a fight. He beat her up. Okay, how many levels of this don't make any sense do we have to have in this situation? And now he finds himself in this situation. His career is completely not tarred or marked. I think he can probably come back. And then on top of that, he's taking one of our favorite Black females down too, because she's looking crazy just like you said. The Megan Good that we fell in love with, to find out that she fell in love with him only a week or two after, because him and the girl were living in an apartment together in Chelsea. So I guess a week or two after when he got charged, he all of a sudden fell in love with Megan. Maybe they were dating before, but they didn't fell in love, and now she can't leave his side. This all just feels contrite. It feels bad. It feels slimy, if I got to be honest.
You know, I hear you about taking one of our beloved ones down, but it doesn't have to. And we as the media don't have to give her strays just because we don't like him. I've dated people before. I made 100% against their actions, and I was with them for a dumb period, and then I snapped the hell out of it, and then I smartened up, or I saw the light. But while I was in it, in love, dumb, digmatized, whatever you want to call it, it happens. And I'm not going to sit there and act like I'm better than that, that we've not, a lot of people do this. I don't want her to catch strays for his actions, and he's still in a trial. Guilty, innocent until proven guilty. It does look bad. I am with y'all on that. It looks stupid as hell. And him saying this stuff about being like Coretta Scott King and Michelle Obama is ridiculous. I never saw the appeal of him myself, but that's why I'm out with him. You know what I mean? I don't see the appeal in him, but I hate.
I respect what Claudia's saying. We can't be so quick to judge when that love bug hits. Us. We get into relationships when the love bug hits. It's so deep. You love the person so much. You think the person loves you so much. So you just don't know. You're kind of blinded by love. And I think that Megan might be going through this right now. Because after what happened, that's why I said it's going to be a long live stream. I got a lot to talk about. After what happened Friday, I want to know, Megan, are you going to be there Monday? You coming? Megan, you going to bring your mama to again? Your mama's with it? That's the question I want to know. I can't wait for Monday. Because Friday really showed that this man might be potential. I think a lot of a monster. Yeah, I said it. And Angelina, and blessings to you, beautiful girl. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, let's get back into it. Let's hear what Claudia has to say. But I respect what you're saying, Claudia. We all been there, and the people's acting like they haven't. Come on. If you over 30, you've been there one time. I don't want to hear it. Resume.
That, if she bounced on him early, you're not standing by your man. That's just like a Black woman to run when it gets on. And then if she sticks by his side, she's being stupid, and she should be punished for his actions. I'm focusing on Jonathan Majors, and that's it. I'm
No,
focusing.
hold on. No. I agree with you in certain conversations, in certain situations, but in this instance, she deserves every stray she's catching, and here is why. No one put her in this.
Right.
You only been with the MF for 2 weeks after the other woman. If we're to believe the timeline, I don't care where you come from. That ain't enough to be going to court with nobody. All right. And you're making it your business. We know what this court thing is, and we know the importance of getting out of the car and who you walk in with and what color you wear. We know that it's all contrived. You decided, Megan Good, to be a character in this play. So, baby, you get the round of applause and the standing ovation and the encore that comes along with being in this play. I'm sorry, she's one of our Black favorites, and that's fine and well. But I'm going to be honest with her. You look stupid as hell. And to be quite honest, and y'all ain't going to like this, you kind of look crazy considering the fact that it was only 2 weeks between the other girl and you. So were you messing with him when he was with the other girl, or are we to believe you magically fell in love with him 2 weeks after he got with the other girl? Either way, you look stupid as hell, and there's no way around it. And you are choosing to catch these strays because instead of taking your ass to an acting class or to an audition, you're deciding to play Coretta Scott King or Betty Shabazz getting out of the limousine every day.
Ooh, he mad. He mad.
What are we to do with that?
She had time. There was no auditions or red carpets to go to because we just came out for actors strike. So that's number one. So there was no red carpet to go to. It was actually against policy to walk a red carpet. Like I said, I can agree with being dumb for love, but I don't think she deserves. We're spending more time talking about Megan Good than Jonathan Majors, and he's the one that's the alleged abuser, and that's what I don't like.
Because there's nothing more to say about him. He did shit. He did it.
He put himself in that relationship, and she has his back. Right, but why
she injected herself into the conversation.
No, we're injecting ourselves into her relationship that we don't know all the facts of. That's all I'm saying.
She should tell it to us then.
If you
gonna get your ass out that limousine every day and stand by your man, and you see the media and the press, and you got homegirls, then explain the shit to us then. And until she's ready to do that, you look dumb.
I'm just not a fan of people sitting up in these boxes that have not have perfect relationships and perfect lives, me included, to act so judgmental and perfect when no one on this panel is perfect.
Oh, I can tell you one thing.
We're not acting perfect. We're just giving our opinion.
Okay, well, you see the
down unequivocally, and I can stand no business on this. I ain't never been dumb for no man. I have never in my life been dumb for no man.
This ain't about attacking each other because we've all give glimpses of being held over.
I think we have to go to commercial. You do.
Let's not make a thing about us. I'm just saying again, other people are catching strays, but Jonathan Majors alleged.
Well, she should stay her ass home.
Okay,
can we go to commercial, please?
I've been trying to.
Did Funky Dineva just tell her keep her butt home? Wow. Okay. We got some more, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the music while I set it up. Okay, we have another clip here. Let's hear what I'm surprised. I'm so glad that Court TV says something, but I don't hear nothing from Law and Crime. They're not even talking about it. And I'd like to hear their commentary. But let's hear what Court TV has to say. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. And also I found out they did show the body cam and everything on Friday. Shoot, I wish we could see that body cam. They said she was running down 5 blocks chasing him. I want to know, did she have heels on or not? All right, let's get back to it. All right, now we're going to hear what Court TV has to say. And I think this is basically after that Friday. Like I told you, Friday was something else. Let's get it.
Trending in true crime, the ex-girlfriend of actor Jonathan Majors says that it felt like she got hit by a bus the day after he allegedly attacked her. Now, that's what Grace Jabbari told a Manhattan jury on Thursday in the actor's assault trial. She spent hours on the witness stand giving very emotional testimony about an incident that happened, as she said, in the back seat of a car back in March. Now, prosecutors say that Majors hit Jabbari on the side of her head, fractured her finger, and tossed her, quote, like a football after she saw another woman had texted him. But the defense says that Jabbari was the real aggressor in this case. In court on Thursday, Majors' attorneys played video of her hanging out at a nightclub after the fight. They also played.
Good evening and blessings to you, Marlene. I see you creeping through the back door, and I guess who's creeping right behind you, Marlene? I see Susie Q creeping through the back door, too. Blessings to everyone. Hugs and kisses. Blessings to everyone. All right, let's get into, like I said, it's kind of a long live stream tonight because we got to get into Jonathan Majors. This is week 1 we're getting into because it's a 2-week trial. So next week is week 2. So we're trying to do as much as we can to cover week 1. All right, ladies and gentlemen, because the trial is not public. So I'm doing the best I can to get stuff together. Let's resume. I see you, Susie Q. Let's get it.
Body camera footage from the next day of Jabbari telling police that she couldn't remember how she got injured. If convicted, Majors faces up to a year in jail. But here's the question. Who do you believe, him or her? They're both pointing the finger at each other and both saying that they're the real victim here. Let's bring in our power panel now. With me, law enforcement expert Sonny Slaughter, the director of prosecution projects at Florida International University and former homicide prosecutor Melba Pearson, and litigation, celebrity entertainment, and sports media lawyer Seth Berensweig. Thank you all for being on the program today. Okay, Sonny Slaughter, my friend, will you do me a favor and start the discussion off? Who do you believe?
Good morning, Julie. Glad to see you back. So I'm going to believe the evidence and what the evidence says based on that particular incident and what happened that night. What did the driver of the Uber or vehicle that they were in, what did he see? What did he notice? What did he see or hear? What has their relationship been like? So I want to stick to the facts and evidence on this one because both of them are pointing to the finger at one another. They may, because that is often what domestic violence victims do. So I'm going to stick to the evidence.
Appreciate it, Sonny. That is smart. Melba Pearson, let me go to you next, please. Really tapping into your experience as a homicide prosecutor. We know that these prosecutors believe her. They wouldn't have brought these charges forward. They would have withdrawn them. So they're seeing something here that aligns with her story, and they believe they've got the case to prove against Jonathan Majors. Tell me about that process, if you would, please, Melba. What it's like when you have to vet your alleged victim. You know, police bring the case to you, and you've got to take a look and see if you agree with the police assessment, and it may not always be right. I'm sure you've withdrawn many cases throughout your career, and that's what justice sometimes is, a withdrawal. Talk to me, Melba. Take us behind the scenes, please.
Absolutely, Julie. Good morning. So ironically, I do have a background as a domestic violence prosecutor as well. So this type of case is very near and dear to my heart. So my approach is always trust, but verify, right? So the victim comes in and says, this is what happened. I'm going to at least believe them on surface value that, okay, you're not coming in and lying, but I'm going to verify every single aspect of your story. I'm going to look at the evidence. I'm going to look at any surveillance footage that may be available. I'm going to look at any past interactions between the victim and the defendant. Were there prior calls for assistance where the police had to respond to their home or someplace where they were before? Are there relatives or family members or friends who can attest that there's been prior domestic violence between the two of them? And is what she's saying what she's saying make sense in the light of the evidence? If she's saying that he attacked her in a certain way in the vehicle, well, if the vehicle is too small, then clearly it couldn't have happened the way that she said. So you have to very carefully interrogate all of the evidence to make sure that you're not filing charges erroneously and then ending up in a miscarriage of justice. However, I will say that a lot of her testimony that we've heard so far does have hallmarks of classic domestic violence manipulation, where threats of suicide, trying to keep her away from her friends, telling her she can't go out, et cetera, et cetera. So there are definitely some elements there of concern, but the defense does have some solid points too. So we'll just have to see how this plays out.
Melba, thank you for all the work you've done in the DV prevention movement. We'll have you back on the show to talk about just that. My friend Sunny knows we love to talk about that on this show. It's important. It's a topic that is hard to breach, that's for sure. And it affects everybody. Very, very common. Seth Berensweig, what a pleasure it is to have you on the show. I want to ask you something that really goes to your expertise. When you represent celebrities and you have a story that's swirling in the news cycle, and there are other concerns beyond the trial, the optics, communications, what's being said in interviews, if any are being done. Would you kind of talk to me about the other concerns for someone like Jonathan Majors, who's someone in the public eye? He's got a lot to lose here. Tell me what you would be concerned about if you're representing him on a case like this, please, Seth.
Sure. So all the descriptions that I would add to that would not detract from the point that this domestic abuse case, as alleged, is quite a serious case. There are 7 counts that have been asserted, so I certainly wouldn't do anything that would decrease the seriousness of the allegations in this case. That having been said, when a celebrity faces these kinds of cases, it has a lot of implications. Of course, their liberty can be taken, and that is first and foremost really something that would have a dramatic impact on their life, but also something that can really drive a sledgehammer into their livelihood. There are conduct and ethics clauses in contracts with studios that provide that there are grounds for termination, or if there are allegations where someone is alleged to have acted in a very improper manner. There are a lot of instances in the celebrity world where people have lost lucrative contracts because of these kinds of allegations, and this is a very serious case. The thing that is curious about this case, and of course it happens in all these criminal cases, is that there's really evidence on both sides, and I think that the defense has a variety of points to note, including the fact that she was dancing that night, and there's a video that doesn't seem to be consistent with the underlying allegations.
Seth, appreciate it.
Best.
I see you, Frugal, creeping through the back door like everybody else. I see y'all. I don't think y'all can creep through the back door and I don't see y'all. I'm glad to have y'all, and blessings, blessings, blessings. All right. Now we got another clip. This guy's hilarious. Okay, like I said, we're focusing on week 1 of the trial of Jonathan Majors with Grace Jabbari. And he's on trial, but we're supposed to only focus on what happened on that car on March 25th and on. And like I said, if we're going to focus on that, yes, he's innocent because she was the first one. She grabbed his phone. But see, I like to go in deeper in things. I like to try to think about the mindset. Why did that woman flip out like that? And then after hearing some of the things that she's saying, just like I thought, this man is a manipulator. He's an abuser and he's a controlling. Allegedly. Well, this is my thoughts and opinions. But I would have found out a lot if the judge would have let those other alleged victims that had complaints about him to speak. But see, they was never let on the stand. So we don't know. We don't know. But I'll say one thing. If he is a monster, you're always a monster. Okay? What's done in the dark will come out in the light, and eventually it's going to come out. Okay, eventually it's going to come out. But right now, I really do feel sorry for Megan Good. I really do. She stepped herself in something she don't know what she got herself into. Lord have mercy. All right, let's get into another video, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, Jonathan Majors. I think you an abuser. I could be completely wrong because we didn't hear those women, but I'm just getting this gut feeling because after Friday, those bombshells, which your lawyer threw you under the bus. But you know what? I have to say one thing. Maybe your lawyer didn't throw you on the bus. Maybe God intervened and he decided, I'm going to control this courtroom. Ever thought about that? Reason.
Jonathan, I want you to take this head off. Jonathan, I want you to take these heads off. Oh my God. Take this. He think he Picasso or something. Take this beret off. Take this shit off, girl.
Ooh, I forgot the same name of the channel. This person did some phenomenal. What's name is? Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to put it in the description. I'm gonna put in the description these content creators just in case anybody else want to watch them and subscribe to me, want to learn more about the trial, because these people have to say is they done a phenomenal job. I'm showing different content creators. Why? Because I want you to hear different people's opinions. We don't want to just go by just one opinion, whatever, but just listen to different people's thoughts and opinions, and maybe you can come up with your own and see. They might see something you didn't see, or you see something they didn't. I don't know. You get what I'm saying. All right, so let's get into this one, and I will put in the description. Let's get him. He's funny as he can be. All right, let's get into it.
Me what they want me to talk about, and I make a podcast expression. We got a new podcast episode coming out over there. Y'all know each week the patrons tell me what they want me to talk about, and I make a podcast episode based on all the topics I get. So make sure you check it out. Link in my description. Let's go. Jonathan, you said that you wanted this woman to behave like Coretta Scott King and Michelle Obama. You said, I'm a great man. I do great things for my culture and for the world. That woman that supports me needs to be a great woman. Girl, Grace need to be making a couple of casseroles, okay? She don't need to be trying to be nobody's social studies history lesson or world history lesson. Girl, you got to be kidding me, girl. Fucking government studies lesson, bitch. No, she need to be doing yoga, drinking coffee, or playing volleyball or something like that, girl. Coretta Scott King? Now what? Why is she in it? All right, so this is coming from ABC. Grace Jabbari, the accuser in the misdemeanor assault case against Jonathan Majors, took the stand as the first witness on the second day of the trial Tuesday. Jabbari answered questions from Assistant District Attorney Kelli Galaway. Majors sat at the defense table, entering the courtroom with current girlfriend Megan Good, girl, oh my goodness, child, who has attended each day of the proceedings. He carried a cup and a Bible. He carrying a Bible. He carrying around that fantasy novel. He carrying around that epic fantasy story, girl. Oh yeah, he did that. He carrying around a Bible.
When I came across this channel, I couldn't even stop laughing. This, Jonathan Majors, you doing too much. You doing too much, and this is why you look guilty to me. This is why you look guilty to me. At first, I felt he was guilty, but then I was like, oh, a video's coming out in text message. And I was like, well, maybe he didn't do it. Maybe it's something wrong. But then when I'm hearing more stuff that she's saying, we're going back from past incidents. Don't get me wrong. She is... All right, let's get into you, girlfriend. You are wrong for taking his cell phone. You're not supposed to do that. But I can understand what led to it. That's the point I'm trying to say. And when you on his shoulder, let's talk about you, Grace. Y'all went out, had a nice time, having a couple of cocktails, dinner, unwind with your man. Nothing wrong with that. Couples do that quite often. And then you come home, y'all in a I think it was Cadillac Escalade, coming home. And then normally you're going to come home, you're going to have some phenomenal sex, right? That's what's supposed to happen after such a great date. But instead, you have your head on his shoulder and you look down and he's scrolling on the phone. Well, you know, people, we always walk around with our cell phones and we scroll on the phone. But you see a woman's name by the name of Cleopatra. Who is this Cleopatra? See, this is what I'm trying to understand, ladies and gentlemen, about this Cleopatra. Because first of all, he's with Grace, right? This is supposed to be his main woman, his woman, correct? And now you got some woman texting by the name of Cleopatra. Where the heck, Megan? Where did you fall in this picture? So help me to understand. Is Grace the main chick? Cleopatra is the side chick, and Megan is the side chick of Cleopatra? Help me to understand. This is where I'm a little lost at, but I know they're not going to bring all this up in the courtroom because it's not so important. But but this is a teacher channel where we learn from different things. We want to see the red flags. We want to learn from. We want to go deeper into it. That's why I'm getting into it. So what is the deal? Or this could be another situation. Maybe Cleopatra might have been Megan Good, but he had another name. Don't know. We don't know. Or did Megan come in after he got another one? So if that's the case, Jonathan Majors, oh, you a piece of work. You think people not thinking about that? I'm trying to add that up because I want to know who was on that text message. Because all of a sudden, you get this text message. They come to find out the name is Cleopatra. Then all of a sudden, we see you a couple of weeks later walking down here with Megan. And you dragging her to court every day. And Megan, I want to know, are you going to be in court Monday? Lord have mercy. You going to drag your mother into this? Look, right here. You going to drag your mother into the courtroom? I think the lady on the right is Megan's mother, and the one that's on the left is Jonathan Major's mother. I could be wrong. I stand to be corrected. If I am wrong, please let me know. But Megan, I'm really so worried about you. I can understand what you're going through. Honey, I've been there. I can understand. I can truly relate. Lord have mercy. But what is up with your mother? She's not saying anything. But we're going to find out Monday. Are you going to be back in this courthouse with him after what you heard Friday? And this is not no he say, she say that happened on Friday. These are the words. This is from him, his cell phone and his text messages that he sent to her. And what's so chilling about it, now these text messages we talking about incidents, the article that I read, we talking about incidents that happened way before this last incident that happened March 25th. But see, the judge doesn't want to focus on that. He just want to focus on March 25th. But we just going to talk about what happened before March 25th, right? And for him to be, there was a situation, I think they're going to, I hopefully have on the video, that she hurt herself. Well, not she didn't hurt herself. He hurt her. Hit her head or something like that, allegedly. And this was text message that was shown on Friday. And he told her, don't get no medical care. Don't go to the hospital because he wants to protect. He wants to protect himself and his career because he's such a great, great man. He denied her for medical attention. So, Megan, this is what you have to help me with. I can tell you, we're going to have a long live, so I got a lot to say about this. We got a whole week to talk about. So, my question to Megan, after what you heard Friday, you still going. What is the bull crap he probably told you over the weekend? Oh, she's lying. She's making up stories. She just mad, not Richard. She just probably pissed off because I'm with a black sister and I'm not with a white woman no more. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. This ain't about colors. This ain't a color issue. People want to throw out like it's a color issue. Oh, she trying to bring the black man down. She trying to destroy his career. No. If you go back from the beginning, she never called the cops. Jonathan Majors called the cops. Let's get that straight. She didn't want him to go to jail. Do you remember the first text message that came out? She didn't want to go to jail. She's still in love with this man. She did not want to go to jail. And she even realized, she knows that he's a black man. And if I do call the cops, go to jail, it's not going to be pretty. She's already fully aware of this. And he definitely made her fully aware of it. And she was following protocol. She following what he says. See, this is what these type of people, these manipulators do. They groom you. They manipulate you. She probably has been groomed for a minute. This is what about a 2-year relationship. She's moving from this place to that place to be with him. And it seemed like to him, Jonathan, it's all about you. You one of those dudes. It's like a woman's supposed to cater and bow down to you because you're Jonathan Majors. I'm the man. No, don't work that way. And I'm going to go in to find out about his child's mother and his child. Is there anything on the internet? I'm just curious because I've never seen him talk about his children and walk around with his daughter and who's the baby's mother. I've seen something of her. But it's like he keeps quiet about his relationships. Well, don't get me wrong. We should keep quiet about relationships because sometimes you put stuff out there, it could be too much. And then people manipulate, change things up. And, you got some people that's jealous. But like I said, I do feel he's going to be found innocent because we're going by what happened in that vehicle on the 25th. And if he is found guilty, that's not fair to me. But however, we have to say, after Friday, and I've been feeling this before, but Friday confirmed it. You have been putting your hands on this woman. But that night, okay, Jonathan, we're going to give you credit. You didn't do it. But you have in the past. And when that night, when she had her head on your shoulder and saw you scrolling, you was gaslighting her. Yes, she was. We ain't stupid. All right, let's get back to this clip. Resume.
Tell me he was carrying around a goddamn Bible in the court. Get this nigga out of here, bro. Around that epic fantasy story, girl. Oh yeah, he did that shit. He carried around a Bible. Y'all ain't tell me he was carrying around a goddamn Bible in the court. Get this nigga out of here, bro. So Jonathan Majors is accused of assaulting Jabbari in the backseat of a for-hire SUV on March 25th after she allegedly grabbed his phone when a message from another woman popped up that said, "Wish I was kissing you." Majors has pleaded not guilty to misdemeanor assault charges, harassment charges. He faces up to a year in jail if he's convicted. So let's get into what both Jabbari and Jonathan Majors are saying about the night of the alleged assault. She said it occurred as they returned home from dinner in a for-hire Escalade. She said her head was resting on his shoulder and they were chatting as he was scrolling on his phone when a message popped up saying, "I wish I was kissing you." So this is what Grace said. "I was so taken aback. I was so shocked. I never considered infidelity to be one of the things that was happening. So I was upset." She said Jonathan denied the message had meaning, but he was just really alert, like he had been called out. That's what she said. She said, "I was saying, let me see the messages. Let me see the messages." So I grabbed his phone and turned away from him. At that point, she said she felt a heavy thud on top of me, what I knew to be the weight of him on top of me and him trying to pry the phone out of my fingers. She described Majors pulling her right hand behind her back while holding the phone in her left. "I just felt like he was twisting my arm and my hand and trying to make me feel pain." When Galaway asked her to describe her level of pain, Jabbari responded, "I had a lot of pain, but my emotional state was only thinking about the infidelity. I was just thinking, who is this girl?" But Jonathan Majors says that, this didn't happen like this. He said that she was the aggressor. So the defense is claiming that Grace slapped, clawed, and otherwise physically attacked Majors so blatantly that night, the driver of their for-hire SUV called her psycho girl. Majors' lawyer said during opening arguments that Grace emerged unscathed and unhurt while Jonathan Majors was left bloodied and ran to a hotel to hide from her. I'm like, okay, girl. Okay, this is from the AP, which makes it sound even crazier, to be honest. This is what the AP said. Jonathan Majors' lawyers claim is that once the driver pulled over, Jonathan Majors fled the scene with his phone as Jabbari chased him on foot through traffic like in a movie. And those words are coming from the lawyer, saying that it was like a movie, that Jonathan Majors was just so scared running from Grace Jabbari. Like, this girl, you're not okay. Let me keep reading. So like in a movie, unable to find Majors, Grace met 3 strangers and followed them to a Manhattan nightclub where she spent the next few hours drinking and dancing. The prosecutor, though, says that Majors picked Jabbari up and threw her inside the car on multiple occasions after the driver pulled over. He said she accepted the invitation of bystanders in hopes of temporarily blocking out the abuse committed by Majors. She returned home after a few hours at the nightclub, took 2 sleeping pills, and fell asleep on the floor of her bathroom. Jabbari awoke the next morning to Majors standing over her with police officers, though Perez said she was initially reluctant to report the abuse because of how he's manipulated her in the past and trained her to stay silent. She soon told police about the alleged assault, leading to the arrest of Jonathan Majors. She was hospitalized with.
And another thing I want to get into, when you're in an abusive relationship, this is what they do. They train you to be silent. It's all grooming. It's all about grooming. They study you. They find out your weaknesses. They find out your strength. And they figure out how they can manipulate to work in their way or what they want from you. You know, when you have these toxic people come in your life, they could come into your life for several different reasons. It could be money, it could be status, it could be sex or whatever. I don't know what these toxic people come into your life for, but there's several reasons. It could be several reasons. Something that you have or you can do for them is what they want to possess. So they want to charm you with the love bombing. I so love you, so care about you. It's all about you and everything. Flash you with gifts, spontaneous dates and everything like that. And you're like, wow, this is something different. This person must really care about you. I might be talking in a way of a woman going through this with a man because I'm a woman and I only date men. Okay. But this can happen vice versa because, men go through this with women. Yes, they do. And I think that this is what this woman went through. And I know a lot of people want to make this case as a race issue. This is not a race issue. This is a man and woman that was together. hmm And one night they went out to have a nice time. Couples do. You go out, have a nice time, and enjoy each other company, have some drinks, have some food, and come home and have great, phenomenal sex. That's what you do. But instead, they had, a big blowout. A big blowout. But let's hear what more he have to say, then I will share my thoughts. And feel free to share your thoughts here if you don't feel comfortable sharing it here. I know a lot of people seem to email me. They feel more comfortable sharing on the email, and I understand. Everything you want, if you share an email, everything's confidential, so I don't have a problem with that. All right, let's get to it. Reason.
Minor injuries. 6 months later, she was arrested by police after Majors brought a counterclaim against her for assaulting him in the vehicle. Those charges were dismissed, though, by the Manhattan DA the following day. Perez referenced the arrest on Monday, telling jurors that Majors' attempt to control and intimidate Miss Jabbari extended well after he assaulted her. So the claims are, Jabbari saying, hey, he physically assaulted me, and Jonathan Majors saying, no, you physically assaulted me, and I was running through traffic like in a movie, trying to get away from your ass, trying to hide from you. That's what the claims are. So going further, Grace Jabbari details for the court like times where Jonathan Majors becomes like really angry, really aggressive, really mean, and that's when the recording of the time where he asked her, demanding her to act like Coretta Scott King. That's kind of where this comes into play. But the first incident we'll talk about is one Jabbari recalled from July 2022 when Majors started throwing things at her in a home they were sharing in West Hollywood. The first thing that he threw was the candle, Jabbari said, as she showed the jury a photo of the room. The dent in the wall is one of the candles. She used a pen to mark the spot where she was standing. I took the photo because the shift in his temper was something that I was aware of. I just wanted to remember. I know I kept forgiving him, but I wanted to have a bit of a memory of it. Grace then talks about how she met Jonathan Majors on the set of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. They ended up going on dates. The relationship moved very fast. We spent every day together, maybe minus a few within the next few months. He told me he loved me very early on. She said I felt very loved and cared for, but then obviously things took a shift. She said the first time Majors became angry with her was in December 2021 when she was going to meet his dogs. She said Majors gave her specific instructions for how to behave around the dogs. At that point, Jabbari mentioned to him that like she had an ex-boyfriend who had a dog. And she said at that, like he became very angry at that and raised his voice. How dare I mention him? Jabbari quoted.
This is the article. I think he's reading the same article as the one that I had read earlier in the live stream, just in case y'all didn't see it. All right, but it's good. We're doing a recap, and we get to hear other people's viewpoints of what they're reading. Right? Correct? We got to be fair around here. We got to be fair.
Majors telling her. It's embarrassing to him that I dated him. His dog is pathetic, this kind of stuff. It was the first time I felt scared of him, she told the jury. She talks about other instances where he's like really aggressive and stuff, but I wanted to just focus on like what led up to this Coretta Scott thing one. By September 2022, Jabbari was living with Majors in London while he was shooting a movie. She recounted a Sunday when she had been at a pub with friends and returned to the house with them. He was getting a bit snappy, just quick with his responses. Jabbari said she ushered everyone out the house. The following day, she said they met in a park where he accused her of being an alcoholic, tore headphones off of her head, and started shouting at her, "Better not be in the house when I get home," Jabbari quoted Majors saying that day. Jabbari broke down in tears on the stand after recounting the story and asked the judge for a break. When she resumed her testimony,
He's snatching headphones from her, but he's talking about her snatching his cell phone. Wow. Resume.
Jabbari said that she left the park and returned to the home she was sharing with Majors and started to pack, but froze when she heard Majors coming. He proceeded to grab everything and was just throwing it, swinging it. Anything I had bought him, he was breaking. I just said, "You could stop, I'm leaving, just please stop." She said it left her scared, upset, and confused, and that he was blaming her because she disturbed the peace or something like that. And so it says here, the jury heard a recording Jabbari made with her iPhone of Majors shouting at her, demanding she behave like Coretta Scott King or Michelle Obama. "I'm a great man. I do great things for my culture and for the world. The woman that supports me needs to be a great woman." Majors is heard on the recording saying, "2 nights ago, you did not do that, which took away from the plan." I'm just like, what super villain ass, what plan? You like, he really think he came for real, bro? Like, you really like, "I do great things for my culture and the..."
I agree with you. I think he really think he can. I think he's taking these roles a little bit too personal. He's really, wow. All right, let's go back to it. Marlene said they both use aggressive behavior. Yep. I would say they both do aggressive behavior, but I think her aggressive behavior, these are my thoughts and opinions, her aggressive behavior in that vehicle, Marlene, was a woman is hurt. You with your man, you out having a nice dinner, music, drinks, whatever, and you come home with your man, and you have your head on the shoulder, and you look down, and you see him scrolling, and Cleopatra, who the hell is Cleopatra? And she replies to your man, "I wish you was kissing me right now." And then says in the text too about D'Angelo song. You know that singer from back in the days, D'Angelo, I think it was the 90s. All his music was about sex. That was it. So, yeah, I can understand why she might have flipped out. Not saying it's right. But let's be real here. That hurts. And for him to do that in her face, that was gaslighting. He was gaslighting her. Yes, he was. Yeah, I'll say it. He was gaslighting you in that car. He knew your head was on his shoulder and you're looking down at the phone. He didn't care. That was gaslighting. He probably was on the verge of getting rid of you. You two been together for 2 years, so he had his fun with you. You know, this is what these type of dudes do. Or women. Don't get me wrong. These type of toxic people do. They love bomb you, devalue you, discard you, then they hoover you. Well, some come back to hoover. And hoovering is basically another form of love bombing all over again. So this is why these people, when men and women get caught in these cycle of abuses, because this is how it goes. It just goes in a circle. Love bombing, idolation, devaluing, then discard, and then it's hoovering. All right, let's get back to it. Told you it's going to be a long one. I got a lot to say. We got to cover a week.
World, like, he's like one of the Avengers, bro. Like, for real. I just kept saying, "I'm sorry," and I took all of the blame, Jabbari testified. "I just took the full blame to calm him down." She said she promised she would not tell anyone what happened and was left quite scared of him and yet dependent on him. After Majors would get upset with Jabbari, she testified he would threaten suicide. He said that he was a monster and that he wants to kill himself, and he has put actions in place to do so. She said she pleaded with him not to and tried to make him feel safe and loved and secure. She said that Majors would blame her, say it was her fault that he got angry in the first place. Maybe he would say that he was sorry, but rarely. "I just felt like I was existing in his world and emotionally and physically in all these ways and did not really feel my own autonomy." In January, the two relocated to New York. Jabbari said she spoke to Majors' manager about his behavior because she needed some support. She told the jury it caused Majors to stop talking to her for a couple weeks. So yeah, the fact that she played a recording of him in court shouting at her ass, telling her it's just not helping his case the way, like, what she has set up, right? Just establishing certain patterns of his behavior, right? And his rage his aggression, his shouting and shit. And so when you tell me, Majors, when your lawyers tell me that you were running from her ass, like running because you were so scared of her ass, I mean, and your lawyer actually said the words, you were running through traffic like it was like in a movie. Like,
as I'm going through this and I'm getting more things come to mind. Jonathan Majors, all my thoughts and opinions. I could be completely wrong and I stand to be corrected. But Jonathan Majors, you gaslighted your girlfriend. You knew what you was doing that night. I don't know why. Because if I'm correct, I read somewhere, I stand to be corrected. But before they went out that night, that March 25th, there was already a little tension in the relationship. Something happened that night or whatever. So she might have been like, these are my stories where it might be like, hey, babe, let's go out, unwind, have some drinks, listen to music, eat some good food. I know you working hard. You got these movies. You got to work out. You got to have your body on point and everything. You might be dabbling in a little bit of steroids because of the angers that I'm hearing sound like a steroid person, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not a doctor or whatever, right? And they go out, and then you see this. I think that he was on the verge of getting rid of her, but he wanted to do it in a nasty way. Typical toxic person. Instead of just being honest. How are you going to sit there and tell her she needs to be more like Michelle Obama and Coretta Scott King? You don't think there's something wrong with that? You was gaslighting your woman. Because you knew something she could never be. She can't be black. She born white. That's it. What is wrong with you? What is this psychological abuse that you have going on? We would have found out a lot. Those women would have came on the stand. You're right. Your lawyer did get a big win. Because I believe those women would have came on there. Because I think it's about 2 or more women would have came on there. It would have had everybody like, what? You see, ladies and gentlemen, you have to realize what's done in the dark will always come out in the light. You don't know when. Look at Puffy. He feeling it now. He thought he was the king of the world. I'm all this. You can't do nothing to me because I'm P. Diddy. Nope, can't do nothing to me. I'm P. Diddy. I'm God. Well, P. Diddy, I'm sorry to tell you, what's done in the dark is coming in light, and everything is coming out. 2024 is not going to be your year at all. But my prayers to your children. But we're not worrying about you, Puffy. Let's go back to this video. Resume.
like in a movie. And you were hiding from her versus her showing the court hard evidence of you being aggressive. At least the recording, you could say it at the very least, right? The record, like she has this recording of you shouting at her ass. It's not looking too good for you, mama. It's not. Like, I'm so sorry. So, I mean, obviously, like I said, this is just, the case is just opening up at this point. So we're going to see more things, more arguments, maybe some more evidence, right? But as of right now, as of this moment, it still ain't looking too good for Mr. Mamas. Actually, it's looking worse. Mind you, it's looking worse for Mr. Majors. Like she really said, he said, like, you need to make sure you walk around here like a civil rights leader. You need to be walking around here like a black politician. All right. And when you gather around us and sing, wade in the water and shit, you better put some blue-eyed soul in that hole. I'm walking around here because if he telling her that she need to be Coretta Scott and Michelle Obama, he really think he MLK, like he really walking around here like he think he MLK, girl. Like he's changing the nation. He is, the pinnacle, right? Like he's king for real, girl. Like, wow. I know Coretta Scott King somewhere like, girl, now why am I in this? Why am I in it? I already have to deal with one cheating ass nigga. I don't need two. I need another one. Why is my name in your mouth? The shit that Grace is describing really is giving abusive, narcissistic rage. So yeah, that's what it's looking like to me. So, but yeah, we're gonna follow the case. We're gonna see what's happening. Thank you so much for watching. Love y'all so much, and make sure that you have a good goddamn evening.
Okay, I think we got ourselves another clip. But he was funny. But he brought up some good points, didn't he? Like, so I'm going to put everybody link into the channel in case anybody wants to, check out the channels, the ones that I'm showing, because they've been following this trial. So I've been watching a whole bunch of people. So you might want to watch me. You get, more of an insight of what's happening. And some people are actually there at the trial. So they talking to other content creators, so you find a little bit of an insight. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool on that one. All right. Enjoy the music while you wait, because we're getting ready to go into another video. This time, if you want to take a little break to step away. Let me see. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have this older lady, and I like her title came up on my feed with the Jonathan Majors, and was so crazy when she came up on my feed. This is exactly what I was thinking, and I always be preaching in my channels. But let's hear what this lady has to say. And her name is gray-haired diva. And I just came across her with this Jonathan Majors, but I truly subscribe. I'm going to hear more what she has to say. It has me laughing. But it's something to think about. The question is, ladies, if this was your daughter, let's say Megan was your daughter. Let's pretend right now. If Megan was your daughter, how would you feel about your daughter supporting this man, going to the court, and after what jumped off Friday? How would you feel? Would you be okay with your daughter like that? And the men too. I want to ask the men, not just the women, the men too. How would you feel about that? And she got a mama up in there too. I believe on the left is his mama, and on the right is Megan's mama. But let's get into it. Let's see what this person have to say. You go, girl.
Hey everybody, I'm here with a quick story on Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors is on trial because him and his ex-girlfriend earlier this year, they got into a little tussle over a cell phone. And now that tussle is costing him everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. And even if the jurors come back and they say not guilty, does it really matter? It may matter in the sense that he won't have to do any jail time, but he's going to be in an external jail, because I think that either way, his reputation, his livelihood, and everything is going to take a hit. There's a long, hard road back from situations as such. I'm feeling for both sides. Okay, there is some validity, even though Grace Jabbari may be exaggerating on some things. She has clear text messages that prove that Jonathan Majors got a little temper. That Jonathan Majors was a little bit manipulative, and that Jonathan Majors, may have some issues. But because you got issues, does that mean that a fight between you and your girlfriend deserves that you go to jail for a year? Listen, guys, we're going to get more into this story right after this.
What's the best way to invest $1,000 or
I'm gonna go ahead and share screen. Let's get into this Jonathan Major story. I will say this. Listen, Megan Good. We often talk about red flags and people ignoring the red flags when they're starting a relationship. And I do feel, listen, everybody deserves somebody. People can change. People can have second chances and deserve second chances. But when you're starting your relationship off, where you have to accompany your man to court on a trial for being accused of putting his hands on a previous girlfriend, if that ain't a red flag, you got to tell me what it is. And in our society, in our world.
Well said, what she says. That's definitely a red flag. Are you kidding me? Wow. Let's get back to it.
What we love to do is, when it's a celebrity or someone that has money, it's like we throw everything to the side. But if Jonathan Majors was your next door neighbor and your daughter said, I'm dating Jonathan, the next door neighbor, who worked a regular job and didn't have that much money and went to date Jonathan Majors, and they came and tell your daughter saying, "Oh, Mom, I got to go with him to court next week." The court for what? He didn't get a traffic ticket. What's going on? No, Ma. He he's accused of beating up his ex-girlfriend. Say what now? Then you go to the court, and then you hear some testimony. And the testimony was not a he say, she say. It was physical text that they got from the phone. Where it is text clearly where she got, he hit her before. And they was talking about not going to the doctor. And then there was text of him saying he was going to unalive himself because he's not worthy and he's a monster. Would you really say to your daughter to continue this relationship? You wouldn't. But for some reason, and listen, it's none of our business and we can't stop Megan, but for some reason, everybody's cheering Megan on with this relationship. That's why I stand by this brother's side. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve somebody standing by his side, but I'm just saying to y'all, would you want it to be your daughter? Now let's get into the story. So Jonathan Majors, just me, myself, and I at the trial.
If it was my daughter, the first thing I say, did you hit yourself on a brick? Do we need to get your head examined? Are you kidding me? For my daughter to come here and tell me that you want to support this man allegedly? Are you kidding me? Are you serious? You just met this man. Just got in a relationship. Unless that's the Cleopatra that we're talking about. We don't know. But they got together mighty quick after that March 25th. I don't think. Honey. Not my daughter. Oh, heck be loose. I'm not coming in the courtroom. I'm not coming to support this bull crap. I don't support this. And she actually bring her mother to court too. Do y'all hear this? That's her mama. One of them. I think the one on the right, that's the mama. Let's get back to it. I don't want to hold y'all here forever, but this is a long one. We have to cover week 1. Then next week is week 2. Let's resume.
Text revelation, okay? Jonathan Majors is gathering his thoughts after what you could argue was a rough week for him in court. It was rough. Anyone some startling text he once said being read in front of the jury. The embattled actor was spotted on a solo stroll through Manhattan Saturday, where he seemed to be on a coffee run, as he ended up grabbing 2 and balanced them on his way back to wherever he was going. Considering the eventful week, these pictures are telling for many reasons. For one, he's all by his lonesome. This after his girlfriend, Megan Good, has come to every single court date of his, including showing up the past several days during the trial, and been right by his side. No sign of her here, though, although he could have been grabbing Joe for the 2 of them. In any case, Jonathan Majors has kept his little outings stylish, uniquely his style, that is. The dude was wearing a khaki pea coat, which he eventually draped off his shoulders, a white tee, black pants, shades, matching golf cap. Like all his public appearances, he's dressed up. He does have a very unique style. And I think it's sad that he's in this situation.
I agree. He does have very unique style, especially when he did that cover for Valentine's Day. I think it was Ebony magazine. That was very unique. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna be comfortable with a man taking those kind of pictures. Not no man of mine's taking those kind of pictures. But hey, each his own. Let's get back to it. That's not what we're focusing on.
But I also think, according to the text, at the bare minimum, he does need some therapy and some help. Fact is, there's been some ugly revelations about him throughout the trial, much of which came from Grace Jabbari's testimony about the relationship, including claims he's been very verbally abusive to her in the past. Remember the whole Coretta Scott King thing? Even more damning than just that, though it is what came to light this Friday, when text messages Major has sent Jabbari back in September 22 were read out loud in court. Now, I don't know. I don't save my text messages like that. I don't save a whole bunch of stuff in my phone. But I'm also very old school. I wasn't born into the cell phone era. I was alive when the cell phones came about, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So I'm not addicted or connected to my cell phone like so many other people. Like the cell phone is everything. They know how to save. They know how to this. I'm not that person, right? And I'm also not a big texty person. After a while, you got to call me because I can't. They included exchanges between Majors and Jabbari, where the 2 of them appeared to refer to some sort of altercation in London. With Majors writing at the time, they will ask you questions. And as I don't think you actually protect us, it could lead to investigation, even if you do lie, and they'll suspect something. So these text messages are allegedly messages where she got hit by him, allegedly, and she was feeling so bad. She tried to hold out, but she was like, I think I need to go to the doctor. So Jabbari replied, I would tell the doctor I bumped my head if I go. I'm going to give it one more day. but I can't sleep and I need some stronger painkillers. That's all. Why would I tell them what really happened when it's clear I want to be with you?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, does that sound like abuse to you or not? And even replay watchers, tell me in the comment section, does it sound like abuse or not? Wow.
That coupled with the testimony she gave about other times he allegedly shown aggression around her, her have not landed well with the public. Just check Twitter, because so much of all these old alleged incidents have been allowed to be aired out in court. It feels like it almost doesn't matter if he's found guilty or not from our point of view anyway. Of course, we'll see what the jury has to say about it all in the end, and more importantly, what Disney wants to do in the aftermath. I think that he may stand a chance if it comes back not guilty. But if he is given his chance and it comes back not guilty, he has got to chill. He has got to seek therapy, and I mean intense therapy, and get help. And he's going to have to make sure a situation like this never, ever happens again. They're far in the way.
Unfortunately, if he is an abuser, it's going to happen again. How old is he? He in his 30s? Oh, it's going to happen again. I really wish the judge would have let those other alleged victims come on the stand. We could hear what they have to say. But I guess the judge didn't want him there, because he wanted to focus on what happened in that car, the 25th and on. See, people have to realize what led to that, what built up to that. Now that I realize the type of relationship they had, that day she just lost it. He's been gaslighted. What we call this damn Coretta Scott from it? That's not gaslighting. That's not gaslighting. You sitting there with your man, and he's sitting there scrolling on the phone, looking at texting some other woman. If that's not gaslight in your face, he couldn't even walk away and say, "Oh, excuse me, I go to the bathroom," and take his phone in the bathroom and start texting. He did it right there in her face. That was gaslight. That was total disrespect. He knew what he was doing. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right for her to take his phone afterwards, but you got to understand. Come on, women. Y'all been there. And men, you've been there too. So nobody come on this live stream or the replay act like, "Oh my God, what are you talking about, Donna? I ain't never done that." That's BS. If you're over 30, you have. I don't want to hear it. Let's get back to it.
His biggest employer right now. And there's a lot of money and work on the line depending on how things shake out. Major's trial continues next week, and we're expecting to hear from other key witnesses, including the car service driver. The car service driver, this could get nasty. It could go in his favor, or the pendulum could swing her way. I will say this, if the pendulum swings her way with this driver, I think that's going to be the nail on his coffin. Who could presumably speak on the alleged incident in the vehicle and answer once and for all, did the guy brutalize her back there or not? In the meantime, it's just Majors out here in these streets patiently waiting. Listen, guys, this situation is crazy. And I'll say this, if he did it, then whatever punishment is applicable to whatever he did, then he needs to pay. Listen, guys, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. We're just having a discussion here, and the discussion is, if Megan Good was your daughter, would you be okay with her dating Jonathan Majors? Chat.
Great question. Excuse me. Great question. I know I wouldn't be good with it. Let me know what y'all think. Okay. I'm going to have to mute for just a second. Let me switch something. I'm going to have to mute for just a second.
I'm attorney Martin Nicholson from the law office of Martin Nicholson, also known as the
Okay, I got another video here. Let's hear what he has to say about this trial. I think he says he's a lawyer, if I'm correct. He's a lawyer or something like that. But you hear him say he's going to address himself. All right, the channel's called Mark Nichols. Day 7, Part 1. Defense slips up as prosecutor gets in text message. Okay, we're going to focus a little bit on Friday. Remember I told you Friday was madness because other text messages came out to show that, wait a minute, Jonathan, you have been putting your hands on this woman before because the judge didn't want to show it. Remember what I said before? The judge did not want to bring that to the court. But somewhere Friday, defense, Jonathan Majors' lawyer screwed up and brought this out, ended up bringing things out. So it ended up coming out with a text message from the past, from before, of him being abusive. All right, let's get to it. All right, this gentleman, I'm going to put him on 1.5 speed. Let's get it.
I'm attorney Martin Nicholson from the law office of Martin Nicholson, also known as the Battery Man. Now I'm here today to talk about day 7 of the John Majors jury trial. Listen, this is explosive material that came out today on Friday. This will probably make some people change their mind. And I believe that the attorney for Jonathan Majors slipped up. I don't know if she was trying to be too cute, trying to play for the media stories, or just she slipped up. And the reason why she slipped up is because she opened the.
Okay, Leja, just in case you don't know who the lawyer is, his lawyer is the short lady that's in the front. That's her. I guess she's the main lawyer. And then the one that's on Jonathan Major's right side, that's I guess her assistant lawyer, something like that. All right, let's get back to it.
The door. If you remember on day 1 that I talked about the judge keeping certain evidence out, that he sealed certain evidence, but she could open the door by her cross-examination questions and that evidence comes in. Well, during her cross-examination, she got in and asked some questions that she probably shouldn't have asked, and boom, the prosecutor jumped on it and said, Judge, that evidence that was sealed from the jury, they should be allowed to hear. So those text messages were admitted into evidence. And the reason why I'm wearing this Batman shirt today is because Batman, as people know, is the world's greatest detective. And this evidence that came in today, we're going to use some detective skills to find out what really happened in that incident, those text messages that came in the evidence today. But first, Jabbari's friend, Holly, who was also a choreographer, testified today in court. And her testimony was that Jabbari, once she started dating, she was happy, they were in love, everything seemed to be going well. And then at some point, she says that Jabbari stopped really communicating with her, got really thin, stopped eating, things like that. Okay, so the prosecution can put on an expert. I don't know if they are or not, but those are classic symptoms of someone that is battered, that's someone that is abused, that they are taken away from their loved ones, their family, their friends. They stop eating, they become more reserved. So that sounds like the case that the prosecution is trying to build. Like, look.
Yep, that's definitely a red flag, a sign of a woman that's being abused, or a male, vice versa. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
He started being controlling, that he wouldn't let her talk to her friends, that she got depressed, she was eating. So the prosecutor's trying to build a case of a man who is controlling a female, and she is just and has no will to think on her own. And that is the case that the prosecutor is building. So apparently one day after the incident, she calls her friend Holly, and Holly's a choreographer. Well, when Holly gets this call, she says that Mr. Jabbari sounded like I've never heard before. Quiet, wrecked. It sounded like she was in shock. Now, this is one day after the incident, even though immediately afterwards, it didn't seem like she was in shock. She also said that Jabbari stopped hanging out with the friends, that she started losing weight. And these are classic signs of someone that is being controlled, being abused. That's the way I'm sure she is going to argue that to the jury. Now, she also, when she Jonathan Major, she said he seemed to be a very sweet and charming person. Now, getting inside Miss Jabbari's psychology, inside her head a little bit, are detective skills. If you to get him in trouble, trying to protect him. That testimony there opened the door. Now, we didn't know at the time, but that testimony, that line of questioning from the defense attorney opened the door to some very damaging evidence. And when Ms. Jabbari said she was scared of the consequences, I guess I still want to protect him. The defense attorney should have known that there are these text messages that specifically reference him text messages that specifically reference him and Ms. Jabbari and some kind of physical altercation. In September of 2022, these text messages, unrelated to this particular case, but they were supposed to be living in London together, and she had some head injuries. Once again, in this case, head injuries, right? The question is, did the defendant try to dissuade you from getting medical attention? A prosecutor asked Ms. Jabbari, and her answer was yes. In one of the text messages, it says, "I fear you have no perspective of what could happen if you go to the hospital." This is what Jonathan Majors said. He goes, "They will ask you questions, and as I don't think you actually protect us, it could lead to investigation even if you do lie and they suspect something." So once again,
What kind of man could say something like that? He abused her, knockout, allegedly, but this was in the text messages that was read out in court on Friday. And you're going to deny her from going to get some medical treatment because you worried about you because you're a black man and you're an actor. You worried about yourself, huh? If this is all true, this man's more dangerous than I thought. All right, let's get back to it. Thank you, y'all, for hanging in here. I know this is a long one, but we got to cover week 1. Resume.
that word protect, that phrase was mentioned in a previous text, and she said she was trying to protect us. And so remember, we were kind of questioning, what do you mean? Like, that doesn't make any sense. She's trying to protect them, yet she's telling the police. Well, she had said that in a previous message, and the defense should have known it. One of her responses, Mr. Barr's responses in that text message was, "Why would I tell them what really happened if I feel like I want to be with you?" What really happened? Now, true, he's not on trial for what happened back then and in London. Matter of fact, don't even have jurisdiction in the United States for the incident that happened in London. But the defense attorney should have known that, and with the line of questioning that she did, she opened the door for the prosecutors to pounce on that and get that into evidence. One of the text messages that she sends is, "I will tell the doctor I bumped my head. I will not go to the doctor if you don't feel safe with me doing so." So once again, here it is. She's saying that she wouldn't go to the doctor. She wouldn't tell on him if he doesn't feel safe. Classic signs of someone that is a victim of domestic battery. Jonathan Majors, in one of his texts, he responds, "It's just fake." So I don't know what context. I mean, is this fake? Was it fake blood, or it was a fake? I don't know what this means. It's fake, but it's not really given any other context about what he's saying is fake. Miss Jabbari was actually reading these text messages, but she teared up and could no longer read the messages. So the prosecutor started reading the messages. Now, I don't know if this was kind of planned out, but one of the things.
Wow, I didn't catch that part. She teared up so much she couldn't even finish reading the messages. Sound like she's still hurt. She's been through a lot. 2 years. 2 years. 2 years, Ant-Man. 2 years, Ant-Man. What have you been putting in this woman's head? What kind of psychological abuse she was putting in her head? And I would like to hear from those past women. But you have so many fans. They look up at you because you're a Marvel, you're a big-time actor and stuff. They just overlooking the fact who you might be, allegedly, really behind this acting. Who you might actually really be. You come up in this courtroom with all you got your mama, you got her mama, got aunties, all these women, like you such a stand-up dude, huh? Yep. But what's done in the dark will come out in the light. Resume.
That he says is, through reading the text message that Jabbari sent Mr. Majors from the incident in the past, was, "I will tell the doctor I bump my head if I go. I'm going to give it one more day, but I can't sleep and I need some stronger painkillers. That's all. Why would I tell them what really happened when it's clear I want to be with you?" That sounds damaging. And if you remember, back in October, the prosecutors filed like a 115-page pretrial motion. They wanted to be able to talk about these text messages. And the judge said, no, it's not coming in. And usually when the prosecutors want to talk about something and the defense wants to keep it out, it's because it's not helpful to the defense. And I made mention of that in a previous video. In New York, they have something that's called Molyneux evidence. And it basically says that it is the conduct is interwoven with the charged acts and may provide necessary background information or explanation to the charge asked. And so basically, to break it down kind of in regular, is the court can say this evidence is admissible because it's going to provide some background about what happened. So when she's saying that, hey, I didn't want to report the incident that he's going to trial for to the police because I want to protect him, be safe, and the defense attorney cross-examines her about that and tries to make it look like it doesn't make sense and attacking her credibility, then the prosecutor can say, well, wait a minute, let's give it some background information. She had a head injury before, and what did he do? He told her, hey, I need you to not tell the police because they're going to do an investigation, and she felt pressure to not report it, not even go to the hospital. And that is what the prosecutor showed, that no, she's just not making this up. It does make sense because she said it before, that she wasn't going to tell when she had a head injury. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she's drunk and she's falling and hitting her head, but he's saying things that make it seem like he may have been the cause of the injury. And the reason why I said that the defense made a mistake is because they knew that there was a history of him sending these text messages, and it made it look like there was a prior incident. And they knew that she was afraid to tell on him in the past, and she said that she wanted to protect us, protect him, and they tried to impugn her credibility. And that's what the judge ruled. That he ruled on Friday morning that the defense attorney basically asked questions in an effort to impugn the credibility of Ms. Jabbari, even though they knew there were other reasons that she did not tell. They tried to make it seem like she just made this up, and the judge said, hey, that stuff's coming in. But it's even deeper. Whoa, I mean, one of the messages that Jonathan Majors sent to her says, last night I considered killing myself versus coming home. I need love too. Or maybe I'm such a monster and horrible man, I don't deserve it. And I should just kill.
And this is another thing I have to say, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm going to talk about this in my other channel. My other channel, I talk more about narcissist abuse, and I'm going to get more deeper in it, but I'm just going to say it briefly. When you're dealing with narcissists, toxic people, sociopath, the whole cluster B personality. You got borderline personality disorder, psychopaths, narcissists, sociopaths, histrionics. I can't forget the histrionic, right? So you have these different personalities, right? And stuff. And I'm trying to figure out, what I'm just trying to say is, I'm trying to figure out which one is he? Which one is he? Very curious. Very, very, very curious. Very curious. All right, let me get back to it. I'm sorry.
Kill myself. And this way, my existence is miserable. I want to die. So he's basically alluding to killing himself.
What I was leading to. My bad. When you're dealing with these relationships and when you're with these type of individuals, sometimes they'll play the unalive role. I have to say the word unalive role. Let me put this under, just in case somebody might be going through. God forbid, I hope not, nobody on this channel. All right, so sometimes they'll do this as a form of manipulating and controlling you. They'll threaten, oh, I'm going to kill myself if you leave. If you do this, I'm going to kill myself. It's all a game. He ain't trying to end his life. He ain't trying to end his life. But he was manipulating and controlling her to make her think so. So she's so scared that she's going to lose him. And like, oh my gosh. See, you have to watch out. That's another thing that these toxic people do. They're good with that. They think it's funny. They think it's a joke. Allegedly. We're just going by what she's saying. And we all learn from, because this is a teaching channel. We have to learn from different things. So this is a great teaching tool to Jonathan Majors and Grace Jabbari. Reason.
And he's a horrible person. He's a monster. He called himself a monster. Now, on a side note, this is one of the things that gets me, but that they seem like they're on top of the world. They got millions of dollars. They got all this fame and fortune, but they're unhappy inside. Like, why would he even contemplate killing himself when he's at the height of his career? Because she was hinting at going to the hospital, not reporting to police, but going to the hospital, and then all these questions were going to be asked, and then he was going to get in trouble. Another thing that he was kind of admonishing her about rejecting his love. He said, I will probably kill myself. It's not really contemplating anymore. I'm a monster. I'm a horrible man, not capable of love. I'm killing myself soon. This is damaging. This breaks down the persona of someone that is put together, coming in the court every day with the Bible. It's tearing it down. The image he wanted to project to the.
Yep, JM, you coming in here with the Bible and everything. Yeah, we see this. We see this. Yeah, we see this. All righty. Let's get back to it.
The jury. And it's going to be hard for him to get on the witness stand and answer those questions. What did you mean when you said that? Did you send those texts? Yes. Is that your phone number? Yes. So you thought about killing yourself? Those are very tough questions, and questions that he probably doesn't want to answer. So I am not convinced that he's going to take the witness stand now. You can have a field day with those questions. Her response, now this makes her look good. Her response is, Jonathan, you can't say this. I'm going to have to tell someone, because she doesn't want him to kill himself. So now she seems like she's the rational one and trying to protect him. She no longer seems crazy. He does. And all because his defense attorney asked the wrong questions. It was so damaging that Jonathan didn't even look at the jury. He had his head down when he was hearing it. Then after it's over, then he looks up at the jury. They have to be really careful. They, being the defense, have to be really careful because there are more texts out there. In that 115-page motion that they filed, it talks about photographs of hand, shoulder, buttocks, punching, discussing pain. I have practiced law long enough to know that there can be alternate explanations for that. There are people that are into B&D, bondage discipline, S&M, sadomasochism. There are people that are into that. And there are people that do get bruises through this type of sexual activity. It is possible. And I mentioned it, when I talked about earlier, back in my very first episode, I mentioned it when we're talking about the evidence being excluded that was prejudicial, is it could be that some of that, could it be, like, you're talking about the buttocks, could it be, he has a spanking fetish, or she has, and her body got bruised. Maybe that's the reason why he mentions that it was fake, because this was some consensual sexual activity, but yet it would make him look bad. He feels bad because he's getting sexually aroused by this kind of inflicting pain on other people, and she's into it as well. Who knows? But there's definitely something more out there in our detective mind skills. I'm not saying that he is guilty of it, but you have to recognize that there is something going on in physical nature between these two, whether it's consensual or whether it's combative, abusive, taking turns on one another, whatever, but something physical. This does seem like an unhealthy relationship. And maybe it's a situation where she gets drunk and attacks him and he, fights back. Who knows? But in the end, I think this was an error, a strategic error by the defense. I want to be clear. It does.
Defense fumbled the ball. They truly messed up. And we got to hear more about this man. Okay, I think I have one more video that I'm going to let y'all go. So just hang in here for a second. Let me look. Do I have another video? Oops. I think I'm done. Yep, that's just about it. All right, hold it. Just I have to put me for a second. Hold a second. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry about that, but we're going to end this one here. I just wanted to show a couple of clips and everything and share my thoughts and opinions on week one of this trial. So hopefully I was able to give you all the best as I can of information. And I'm going to put the links of all these different channels in here tomorrow. So just in case anybody want to follow those channels and they want to find out more about the trial, you might just find, interest in the other commentary, whatever it is. But go and check them out and stuff. But I really do appreciate the commentary because I get to hear different people's point of views. And I know one thing I'm listening to with, some people, a lot of people's Marvel fans, they big time with the ant thing, whatever, the stuff like that. So they kind of really look up to him. They don't want to lose their Marvel actor, but they're not realizing that there's a possibility this man could be a monster behind the scenes. But like I said, the court is only one to focus on what happened that night on March 25th. That's all they care about. That's all the judge cares about. He doesn't want to know about what happened past relationships. But Friday, unfortunately, Jonathan Majors You're a lawyer. You're a little team right here that I know you paying an arm and a leg for, because I think she's a high profile lawyer. She fumbled the ball and she threw you under the bus on Friday. But then again, hey, might have been God who walked through that courtroom and said, I'm going to expose you for your actions. But like I said, it's all allegedly. These are all our thoughts and opinions. And the other women never got a chance to come on the stand. And that really bothers me, because that's why I say victims suffer in silence. And that judge told them to be silent, and they couldn't speak. And it was probably hard enough for them to speak. And I'm a little sick and tired of people saying, oh, well, if you're a victim, you should have said something before. If the guy attacked you and did this, why you didn't go immediately to the hospital and do a report? Well, let me ask you something. Have you been a victim? Have you been a victim of SA? Any kind of form of abuse? So who are you to judge? Who are you to be so quick to say, oh, why you didn't say something then? You can say something now. And that's right. I'm gonna talk about it. Let's get into this one. I'm so proud of Cassie. I'm so proud of Cassie. She came out and she spoke. 10 years of this crap. And everybody else is coming out, right, Puffy? I was gonna talk a little bit about you tonight, but we're not gonna focus on you. We're gonna focus on Jonathan Majors. But we will see. But like I said, next week is more. I'll probably be doing some more. I'll do another one, the recap of the week. I don't know what day of it, but I was just like, I'm just going to wait for the weekend and go from there. And then we're going to do week 2 of this trial. And we'll see what happens. But I honestly feel my thoughts and opinions, I think he's going to get off. Because if they're going to go by the rules in that court, what the judge asked for, well, yes, he is innocent. She snatched the phone from him. That's it. You in the wrong. But to all the victims out here that's watching replay, who has been a victim like me, we all know what the real deal is behind the scenes. We all know why she grabbed that phone. That's all I have to say. Everybody have themselves a blessed night and a safe night. If you need to talk to me, or you need a coaching and dating, love relationships, or toxic relationship, or you have a viewer request, or you need to talk to me about something personal on the side, feel free to email me. You'll find it in the description. And shout out to everybody. Thank you for all the blessings that you sent to my channel through the super chat, through the thanks, through the Cash App, through the PayPals. I appreciate it. I really do. And to the emails that I received that you find value in my channel and it's helpful. That means a lot more than anything else. That's the only reason why I'm doing this. So everybody have themselves a blessed night and a safe one. And stay tuned for some more of Donna Just Being Real. And we're going to get back into you. Yep, Jonathan Majors. We focusing on you, Majors. What are you all about, sir? What are you all about? Talk to us. Let us know.